Greetings and welcome back to room 303 in our chats with Emily, as we are calling our readings through the poetry of Emily Dickinson. We are in the Johnson edition. We are now at poem 260. Read, sweet, how others strove. Now, many have argued that the sweet of this poem might in fact be Sue, her close friend, possibly lover. When this poem was first published in 1890, it was titled The Book of Martyrs, for reasons that I think will become self-evident when we come to the reading and the study of this poem. Now, our assumptions are that you've been following our stuff at LearnStrong.net, down that left-hand side, Chats with Emily, our playlist. I'm hopeful that you've already been exposed to our set of introductory comments. I'm hopeful that you've already worked through our preceding 259 poems. We just finished 259, Good Night, which put the candle out. Now, I think that this poem is in many ways, as we've seen in so many earlier poems, Emily's attempt to respond to a biblical passage that will matter for her. And I think standing behind this poem is the famous Hebrews 12 passage of all of the great cloud of witnesses of faith. The opening lines of that read this way from the King James Version that she would have known. Wherefore seeing, again Hebrews 12, 1, 2. Wherefore seeing we also are compassed about with so great a cloud of witnesses, let us lay aside every weight and the sin which doth so easily beset us, and let us run with patience the race that is set before us, looking unto Jesus, the author and finisher of our faith, who for the joy that was set before him endured the cross, despising the shame, and is set down at the right hand of God. Now, it's that great cloud of witnesses that I think we want to pay particular attention to. Now, Sewell has pointed out, in an observation of some value, I think, to us, that Mabel Todd recorded in her journal, when she began studying Emily's poems, how she felt, quote, helped as if a kingdom cared, end quote. Now, we're going to look at this poem as being an injunction to live a certain kind of life and to appreciate how others who are maybe great, who strove, this is a great fighter poem, by the way, to make something important out of their life. She'll say it this way. Read, sweet, how others strove, till we are stouter, what they renounced, till we are less afraid. How many times they bore the faithful witness, till we are helped, as if a kingdom cared. Read then of faith that shone above the fagot, clear strains of hymn the river could not drown, brave names of men and celestial women passed out of record into renown. That she ends this poem with the word renown. Of course, we think of fame. We think of Keats, don't we, and his longing for fame. When I have fears that I may cease to be, then felt I. He'll say it. That whole notion of I stepped out onto the shore of the wide world and stand alone and think till love and fame to nothingness do sink. I like that she begins with the word read, an injunction. Again, the Book of Martyrs is what this poem was originally published to be called. Read, as in consider the past, and then sweet. Now, sweet here can mean someone who you care about. It could also mean have a fond reading of whatever it is that you're doing. How others strove. In 11 poems, she loves this word, strove. You'll maybe remember in poem 190, he strove and I strove to struggle, if you will, right? The others here will be the martyrs, the saints, the ones who lived great lives. A contemporary, of course, of Emily's is Longfellow in his Psalm of Life. You'll remember, lives of great men all remind us we can make our lives sublime, and departing leave behind us footprints on the sands of time, footprints that perhaps another sailing or life solemn in a forlorn and shipwrecked brother seeing shall take heart again. Here we're playing a very similar game. Read, sweet, how others strove, till we are stouter. It's the only use of that word in all of her poetry. What they renounced, till we are less afraid. This is, of course, then the goal. Courage. To not be afraid. And we can draw, she says, a certain kind of courage from those who demonstrated how to strive, how to be stouter. How many times they bore the faithful witness, taking us again back to the Hebrews 12 passage possibly. Till, notice the second till we are helped, as if a kingdom cared. Hey, do you guys remember just a few poems earlier when we were in 256? Do you remember that she said it this way, if I'm lost now, that I was found, shall still my transport be. That once on me, those jasper gates blazed open suddenly, that in my awkward gazing face, the angels softly peered and touched me with their fleeces, almost as if they cared. We're back to it, only now, this as if a kingdom cared doesn't seem to me to be as skeptical or as cynical as in 256. And then we'll come back to it one more time with read. Read then of faith. And again, the Hebrews 12 passage is probably in the back of her mind, called often the chapter of faith. That shone above the fagot. Of course, here the fagot only used one time, referencing the martyrs that were burned at the stake. Clear strains of hymn the river could not drown. In other words, their lives were of great value. Brave names of women and celestial women. Brave names of men, and celestial women. Passed out of record, of course the reed here, into renown. This renown word, by the way, is used in 12 of her poems, obviously of a related to fame and to being remembered. Well, what's the message here at 2a? I think the argument is that we can gain strength from others who strove. Think about the tradition of the epic tradition, the mythic tradition, the epic tradition, and that makes a lot of sense in terms of our Dante study, our Milton study, our Homeric studies, our Virgil study, all of those we've done at learnstrong.net. In other words, what is the point of reading the great works? The point of reading the great classics is to be reminded that, yes, you can gain some kind of help from those who strove. At 2b, I love her word choice here. Emily is fighter, strove, right? Stouter, renounced, renown. At 3a, I mentioned Psalm of Life. I think some of those lines of Psalm of Life, lives of great men, all remind us we can make our lives sublime. The idea that those who came before can demonstrate, can show us how to live well. Finally, at 3b, who most in this regards do you respect? Who are those quote-unquote martyrs? Those who lived well enough to show you the way. I'm hopeful that Emily maybe someday will be in that list for you. Thank you.